and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are joining me for the first time today. My name is Lucy and I've just arrived back from 8 months backpacking in Southeast Asia. Before I start, I'll just say if you haven't watched any of my travel vlogs and you are brand new to my channel, I will link them on the screen here. For 8 months I was consistently filming, editing and uploading my travel vlogs for you guys, and I really enjoyed doing it. So if you do want to watch what we got up to on our travels, then click here and you can have a little look. So I actually arrived home on Monday. Today is Friday and I am desperate to do a big declutter of basically everything I own. When you are away for so long and you're living out of a backpack and you're literally wearing the same 4 tops, 4 bottoms the whole time, it really makes you realize how much you don't need in life. And being a makeup artist, over the years I have accumulated and hoarded so much stuff, particularly makeup and skincare, that, to be honest, I only ever touch the surface of. Yesterday I actually did a massive declutter of my wardrobe. I got rid of about half of the things that I own in my wardrobe, and today's task is starting on my makeup collection, which you will soon find out is going to be a big old task. So I'm sure this video is probably going to be really long and have to be broken up into sections because there's no way I'm going to be able to do it all today. I'm not really sure where to begin, honestly. This is going to be absolutely chaotic. My plan of action is to go through each drawer one by one, and I'm going to try and cut down on all of the things in the drawer by 50%. I want to get rid of half of every single drawer so that I can make room for new stuff. So let's begin, shall we? So these top 2 drawers I actually tackled last night. They are not very interesting. My top one here is basically all of my tools and things that I need to reach for every single time I do my makeup. So it's got my tweezers, my scissors, my tape, just bits and bobs that I sort of reach for and need every day. This second drawer down is sort of like my cleaning products drawer. I've got all of my brush cleaners and my antibacterial sprays. And I also just put in here last night my P. Louise base, which I put in this big Tupperware just here. They were originally in this drawer, but they were looking overflowing and just chaotic, so I've put them in a separate drawer, and I think that this will be much easier to find them. The big one that I'm going to be starting on today with you guys is this one here. This doesn't even look that chaotic to me because I actually know what everything is in here, but this is far too much. This is basically all of my powder products, so my powder, blusher, bronzer, highlighters. Looking at it, I can already tell the ones that I need to get rid of because I just never touch them. The thing is, being a makeup artist, you feel like you need all of these different shades, these different colors. Oh, I might use that, I might need that. You don't. So I'll start by just taking out these boxes. I have previously organized them into blushes, and this one is bronzers, and then the one in the back is my highlighters, and then these along here are sort of extras and powders. Not to mention, this is also a very heavy drawer. These Alex drawers from IKEA are not the most durable things, so the fact that they've got so much weight in them is not great. I need to cut down on this drawer so that it's a little bit lighter. Oh god, this feels really overwhelming already. I'm going to begin with my blushes because they are right in front of me. Straight off the bat, I can tell you the blushes that I do reach for and use all the time. First and foremost, this Ciate blush is staying. She is beautiful. I don't know how well you can see it from there. She's shimmery and gorgeous, and this is First Date by Ciate. I do like this House Labs one, but I don't know how much I actually reach for it. The highlighter is really pretty though. To be fair, it might be better to keep a palette like this rather than keep an individual blush and a highlighter, so I'll put this in front of me as a maybe at the minute. This is the Morphe Pop of Coral, and I don't reach for this all the time, but I do really love the coral shades in it. I feel like my best bet is probably to open all of the blushes up so I can see the difference in colours and then decide, because they're all very, very similar. Now that I've got them all laid out, it actually seems a lot easier choosing the ones that I want to keep and get rid of. So straight off the bat, the ones that I'm going to keep are going to be all of my bright, bold coloured ones, because I actually use these very, very often for makeup looks when I'm matching my blush to my makeup, or if I'm doing something a little bit more bold and creative. I do like having those. Same with these Colourpop ones. I love these matte blushes and they have really nice colour payoff, so I'm going to keep those. This Mai Tai blush by Ofra is one of my staples. I absolutely love the peachy tones in this, so I'm definitely going to be keeping that one. Again, these two by Doll Beauty, I absolutely love these and I do reach for these very often. We've got one here which is Let's Get Wavy. It's a bright pink and it's matte, and this one is my classic Dollar Day. It's my shimmery blusher, the perfect sort of baby doll pink with a little bit of peach in it. Of course, I can't let go of my NARS Orgasm blusher. This is just a absolute staple. Everyone needs this in their collection. Okay, so some that I'm definitely going to be getting rid of, which actually seems really sad now that I'm sat here doing it, but these I literally never reach for because they are just not the right colours for my skin tone. So this one is Laura Mercier. It's just a little bit too pale for my liking. Same with these two by Ofra. This one is Blush Apricot. It's just far too pale for my skin tone. It's actually on the more orangey side of things. Also this one by Glow Wish, which is Healthy Peach, but it's just a colour that is probably a little bit too pale for my liking. So these two by Beauty Bay I have held on to for the longest time because I always think that they are so beautiful, but if you looked at them up close you can see I've literally never touched them. They are basically the same shade except this one is shimmery and this one is matte, and I think they are such beautiful colours, but they're just not my type of colour. I personally prefer more of a peachy blush, so I'm gonna package those up and hope that somebody will get more use out of them. This one by Too Faced is absolutely stunning. I absolutely love the packaging because it's got butterflies, but the one thing I don't like about it is that it's got quite a lot of loose glitter in it and I don't like the glittery look. Another one by Too Faced which smells really nice. It's one of their peach collections and it is a really beautiful colour, but it's very similar to some of the other ones that I've already kept. Oh, this is so difficult when you get down to these final few. See, I really love this colour of this Becca one. I don't use it all that often, but I feel like I don't own a colour already that looks like this, so I think for that reason I might have to keep it. I don't even know if Becca still sells this one. This is called Foxglove and it's not a colour that I reach for every day, but I have used it a good few times with makeup looks. I'm going to keep that one. Now, all of these ones I have left over are very similar colours. First off, I'll just show you the blush palettes that I've got left over. So this is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's in the shade Peachy Love and I actually love this one. I have been using this for many years. Same thing with my Morphe one. This is the Morphe Blush Trio in the shade Pop of Coral. Beautiful coral peachy colours. But this one in the middle is the one that I reach for the most, and it's very similar to this one and this one and this one. So I think for that reason I might have to let go of this blush palette. It's just not really worth having it if I've got blushes that are the same colour. I do like that one. I do like that one. I do like that one. Do like that one. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of my House Labs one because the more I look at it, I really don't ever touch this colour. It's like a really beautiful matte pink, but it's just not a bit of me. And I think I might also say goodbye to my Anastasia Beverly Hills one. I do really love this, but I've already kept quite a lot here and I just don't think that it's one that I reach for the most. Well, that definitely looks like half the box has gone. I think that's a pretty good effort, don't you? Okay. Bronzers. Again, I'm going to open them all up and just sort of see the colours that I'm working with because a lot of them are going to look literally identical and I do not need all of them. Bronzers I find even harder than blushers because, to be honest, they're all just different shades of brown. Well, first of all, I've got two Hoola bronzers on the go which are the exact same shade of Hoola bronzer, and then on top of that I've also got the Hoola Caramel, which I've never touched and I don't really know why I have in there. So I don't need three Hoola bronzers. I'm just going to see which one looks like I've used it more. I think I'll bin that one. I do love my Hoola bronzer though, but I just don't know if it's worth keeping on top of all of these ones. This one by Doll Beauty is one that's probably a little bit too dark for my skin, and I definitely haven't touched this in a very long time, so I'm going to get rid of that one. This one is a definite keep. It's my Hourglass Ambient Light Radiant Light Lighting Powder, and I absolutely love this one. It's really shimmery, but it's beautiful for a summer's day when you're not really wearing a lot of makeup. I love this Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, so I'm going to keep that one. I never touch this one. It's a little bit too dark of a shade, so I'm going to get rid of that one. It's the Glamour Bronze by Morphe. God, this is really difficult. They all look so similar. I really wanted to love this Patrick Tar one, but I just never really reach for it. Not me sat here, literally, I can't tell the difference. Why have I held these for so long? And they are literally identical. These are the ones by House Labs. It's the Heat Spell Bronzer and Highlighter Duos, and I really love these for traveling. However, I seem to have two different shades of it when I can't really tell the shades apart. Well, this one looks like I've used it more, so maybe I'll keep this one and give this one away. So this one is Beauty Bay, this one is Lottie London. They are slightly different shades. This one is slightly warmer and a little bit darker as well. Well, that looks very similar to my Hoola bronzer, so maybe I'll give away the Beauty Bay one. Yeah, no second guessing myself, off it goes. I really like this one by Misguided because it's a really light shade, and sometimes when you don't really want heavy bronzing, it's a really good one to use, so I'll hold that one for now. This one by NARS is actually a duo of the Laguna bronzer and the Orgasm blusher. I don't always use this when I'm at home, but I love this for traveling because it's got two of my favorite products in one, so I'm definitely going to hold that one. My Rosewood bronzer from Anastasia Beverly Hills has lasted me a good few years, but again, I don't really touch it above all of my other ones, so I think that it's probably her time to go. This is Charlotte Tilbury, and it's a little bit of a lighter shade for my skin tone, but I really like that again on like a day where I don't really want anything too heavy. I love this one from Sleek. It's a really nice colour. Laguna bronzer, she's staying, and I love my trusty Doll Beauty medium Gimme Sun, so that's going to stay for the minute as well. This is a travel palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's called the Italian Summer, and it's got bronzer, highlighter and blusher. Again, don't reach for it really when I'm at home, but it's a really good one to travel with. So I've actually managed to get all of my blushes and my bronzers into one box now, which is an absolute result because they were both in two separate boxes before. And now I'm moving on to my highlighters. Highlighters is really difficult because I actually do feel like I switch up my highlighters very often. There is definitely a few staples in here which I'm immediately gonna keep because I reach for them all the time. So that is definitely this Beauty Bay one, this Beauty Bay one, this one by Illamasqua, my Laura Mercier, definitely this Sol one as well. The thing is, again, similar to the bronzers, half of these look so similar, and I'm actually realizing that a lot of them are dupes for each other. Immediately this one can go. This is the Jeffree Star Ice Cold Skim Frost. I bought this on his first ever release when he opened his makeup line. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time that I touched this highlighter, so this one is definitely going to a better home. These two are more or less the exact same color. This one is by Ciate and this one is by Maven Beauty. I think I'm going to keep the Ciate one only because the Maven Beauty one is slightly darker and it does look a little bit patchy on my skin sometimes. My trusty Mary Luminizer from The Balm. This was my first ever highlighter and my first ever high-end makeup product that I bought myself. But she is looking old and crusted and dusted now. I must have had her since about 2015. This is actually a body highlighter by Huda Beauty and it's absolutely massive. It's like the size of my head. I think because it just sits in my drawer and it's so big it intimidates me. This ought to be in my makeup room actually so that I can do it on my clients on their collarbones and stuff, so I'm going to put that into my makeup room. This one by Coloured Rain can go. I never reach for her. Now a lot of these look very similar as well. These are two very golden coloured highlighters. This one is Maven Beauty and this one is Ofra. I actually love both of these, but I definitely don't need them both, so I'm going to keep my Ofra one because I feel like I use that one more. Again, this is a very difficult decision because Beauty Bay versus Ofra, these are both very light shades and they're very, very similar. I think I'm gonna have to swatch them to figure out which one to keep. Okay, I'm going to keep the Ofra one just because I feel like the colour payoff is slightly better. But this Beauty Bay highlighter better go to a good home because I love this one. These two are incredibly similar. It's a Laura Mercier versus Ciate. I actually never really reach for either of these, but this one is like a very nice everyday colour. So I think I might hold on to her for the minute and get rid of the Ciate one. This is another one of those dual palettes with a blusher, highlighter and a bronzer. This one's by Sleek, but I kept those other ones earlier on, so this one's going to be going. My trusty Sleek palette, everyone had this when we were in 2014. I actually have these shades individually though, so I'm going to keep those and get rid of this. I actually really like this palette. It's the Huda Beauty Light Obsessions and it's got some really beautiful shades in it, but I feel like I don't really need it because I have all of the shades already in different highlighters. So I'm going to get rid of that and hope that somebody else will love it. These two are incredibly similar. This is the Be Perfect Get Wet and this one is the Ciate Glow to Highlighter. They are more or less the exact same pinky toned colour. However, this one is more of a wet consistency, and this one is obviously a powder. And I think for now I'm actually going to keep the wet consistency one because it's slightly more opaque and has better payoff, although I do absolutely love this highlighter, so I hope that somebody else will love it as much as I do. This is my Fenty Beauty. It's a blue highlighter. I never really use it on a day-to-day, but it is good for makeup looks, so I'll hold on to that. And for some reason I have all of these loose highlighters. I never ever use loose highlighters, so pretty much all of these can go, although I am going to hold on to my Jaclyn Cosmetics one for now. Actually, I'll keep on to two of them. Artist Couture, Jaclyn Cosmetics, and the rest of them can go because I never ever touch them. Okay, and this is my little highlighters box, looking much more fresh. And finally for this drawer, onto my face powders. So straight off the bat, I can tell you the ones that I do and I don't use. This is a loose powder by NARS that I don't really like the formula of it. It also smells really weird. It's kind of like too finely milled that I feel like it just looks a bit strange on my skin. So I'm going to be getting rid of that one for sure. I love my Too Faced pressed powder, so that's going to stay. This Anastasia Beverly Hills translucent loose powder is 100% staying. I reach for that all the time. Also, along with my Jordana Tisha Half Baked. I also have two of the Sigma loose powders. One of them is much darker and one of them is much lighter. For my skin tone, the lighter one tends to be better, so I'm going to get rid of the darker one. This by Glowish I never really use. I feel like the shade is not really good for my skin tone. I have blotting powders by both NARS and by Fenty. To be honest, I never really touch either of them. I don't love the blotting powders. I've probably used the Fenty one more times, so maybe I should keep that one. Then apparently I also have two more white powders, which is by Ofra and by Be Perfect Cosmetics. I thought that I would use this one more than I actually have. I've never used this one, so that one's gonna go. Unfortunately, there's been a tragedy and this one by NYX has completely smashed, so she can go in the bin. My trusty Rimmel Stay Matte powder that is looking really crusty and horrible now, she's gonna go because I know that some of my friends will probably use her until she's completely dead. And then I'm gonna keep my NARS mattifying powder and this Be Perfect one, and that will be it for my powders. So I've just put some of my pressed powders in with my highlighters. I've got my loose powders here and then my loose highlighters here. Well, that drawer is looking a hell of a lot cleaner. So this is where I'm going to have to be a little bit more savage with myself. I really need to cut down on all of these foundations, bronzers, blushes, concealers, primers. Anything that looks slightly weird, like it's expired, is going. Anything that I never touch on the regular is going. This is an unhealthy amount of bloody foundations to have on the go. And this is only a tiny section of them. You should see my client room. Starting with primers, I feel like primers is a really easy one for me because I only reach for certain primers. I haven't given this one enough of a chance yet, so I'm gonna hold on to it. This one is by Huda Beauty. It's the Water Jelly. This one to me is not a primer, it's actually a cooling stick, but I never really use it, so I'm gonna get this one gone. This is the Blur Stick by Milk Makeup, and I loved this back in the day, but again, I never really use it anymore, so that's going. This one I never use. Even this one by Illamasqua, I hardly ever use it, but I do like that one, so I'm gonna leave that one as a maybe just for the minute. I have these ones by the Beauty Crop. This one is still sealed, so if I haven't used it by now, I'm probably not going to use it. The Hangover Primer, which I'm not a huge fan of anymore. I used to like it, but it's not really my go-to these days. I love this one by NYX. It's the Plump Right Back Primer with electrolytes, and I really like that one on my skin. These ones by Smashbox. I've got an anti-redness one, which is really good to have, and a mattifying one, which is good to have, so I'll keep those. I've got my MAC mattifying one as well. I have this blurring one by Laura Mercier, but again, I don't really tend to use blurring primers. I'm gonna pop that one over there. Love a hydrating primer, and this one is a protecting one with SPF, so I do love her as well. Actually, looking at them, I've got the Porefessional by Benefit, and I've got the Laura Mercier blurring one. I'm not really sure which one to keep. Well, I already made up my mind up on that one actually, so I'll keep the Benefit one for the time being, and I think that'll be okay for primers at the minute actually. That's quite a good little selection, I think. Oh god. Okay, moving on to concealers. I'll first off start with just concealers because in this box I actually have bronzers, blushes and concealers and contour as well, but I'm just going to pick out the concealers and do that first. How many bloody concealers does one person need on the go at any one time? This is ridiculous. Okay, so starting with the ones that I never really use. I'm not a huge fan of this Chroma cover by Be Perfect Cosmetics. I've tried to use it a couple of times. I have quite a few shades of this one, so I think maybe I'll keep one of the shades and get rid of all the other ones. Probably that one, it's got more pinky undertones. I'll keep that one and I'm gonna get rid of the rest. This one by Clinique is definitely too dark for me, so that one's gonna go. This is not really one that I reach for very often because I find that this one creases quite badly on me, so I'm gonna let that one go. These ones are pretty new actually. I haven't really had the chance to try them properly yet. It's the Benefit Boing Bright On Concealers, and they're in quite weird shades for me, so I'm not actually sure that I'll use them all that often. So I've got a couple of these Conceal and Defines by Revolution. Everyone knows these are an absolute staple. If you haven't yet tried them, you definitely should. But which one am I most likely to use? That one looks like it's gone a bit weird actually. Maybe I should throw that one in the bin. Oh, it's sealed as well. Well, there you go. If it's sealed, it means that I clearly haven't used that. This one looks like it's slightly separating. I'm not a huge fan of this one actually. It's the Fenty Pro Filter Concealer, but it's not really one of my favourite formulas. Absolutely love the Bear With Me by NYX, so that one's staying. I also really like these ones by Huda Beauty because they're very full coverage and I like using them at Halloween time. Keep these two and get rid of that one. Again, I've got 3 of the Lasting Perfection Concealer by Collection, but I only ever really use it at Halloween time because it's not really an everyday one for me. I'm gonna let go of the slightly darker one and keep the lighter ones. My NARS is staying. So we've got the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating and the e.l.f. Camo 16-hour wear. I never really use either of them, but if I was to keep one, it would be the 16-hour one, so the other one can go. I really like these Kat Von D ones, so they can stay. I've got the Maybelline Instant Eraser, but I actually never really use this one. I know it's a fan favourite, but it's not one of my favourites, so I'm gonna let that one go. Love this Candid one by Revolution. I don't need 2 of these Laura Mercier Flawless Fusions. Which one can I let go? I'm gonna let the warmer one go. Absolutely love these Benefit Boing ones. I've got shade 2 and shade 3. They're very, very similar, but I'm going to keep both of them for now because I just really like the formula. I have this little Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer palette, but I don't really ever use it. I've honestly probably used it about 3 times. So I'm going to let her go because I also have this one by Shiseido, which is like a cream to stick formula, which I'm going to keep. I'd say even that is still a lot of concealers. I can probably let 1 or 2 of them go. Anyway, that'll do for now. I might even go back through and do these again in a couple of weeks time, but for now that will be okay. Moving on to bronzers. So I've just put all my bronzers into this box here. So straight off the bat, I'm going to get rid of my Milk Makeup sticks because these are absolutely ancient. We've got one that's like a highlighter, so it's more like a shimmery colour, and this one is a matte one, but I'm going to let them both go. My Bella Pierre contour stick, I haven't used this in a really long time as well. This one, I don't even know where it's come from or what brand it is, so it's going. These are both by Iconic London. It's actually a Precision Duo. It's got a powder and a cream. They're quite a good little size to have if you're traveling, but I haven't ever used them, and I feel like the formula of the powder is a little bit weird. I never touched this one by Iconic. I've got 2 of the Huda Beauty Tantors. I have loved these for years and years, but I only ever really touch the light one because I like that it's more of a cool tone, and this one is slightly darker and it's more warm toned, so I'm gonna let the medium one go. I have a few concealers in darker shades which I was keeping for contour, but there's only a couple of them that I ever really use, so I'm going to keep my Sample Beauty one because this one came traveling with me and I feel like I just have to keep it for that reason. And also this one by Shiseido, which is my absolute favourite. It's in the shade 402 Tan, and I love this for contour. Now I've got 3 contours which are by different brands that look very, very similar, and I'm going to have to be quite harsh with myself on which ones I keep. So I've got 3 very different shades here. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. It's slightly lighter, and this is by NARS and it's slightly darker. Oh, I don't know whether it's worth just keeping them all. I've got 2 of these Kat Von D ones, and I have no idea what the difference between the shades is. Oh, she's a lot darker. Okay, she can go. She's probably a little bit too dark for my liking. So I'm going to keep those 3 then. I'm going to keep the NARS, the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and my Huda Beauty Tantor. Charlotte Tilbury, absolutely adore her. Have loved her for years. She's going to stay. And that'll be it for my cream contours. God, cream blushes is the big one. I don't even know how I've ended up with so many of these. For a girl who only started using blusher a couple of years ago, I have accumulated quite the blushes over the years, and I seem to be quite sentimental about them, and I'm not really too sure why. Okay, this is actually easier initially than I thought it was going to be. There's a couple in here which are not my colour or I never use. So straight away, this Clinique Chubby Stick. I love this Juice Pot by the Beauty Crop, but I don't love the formula of it because it dries down pretty quickly and it's quite hard to work with. I love the formula of this one by NYX, but this colour is not my favourite. It's not one that I tend to use every day. I never use this one by Rimmel. It's a jelly formula and it's not my favourite. I don't like this one. I don't like that one. I like her, but I don't use her very often. I don't use this one by Pixie, so she's gonna stay because I love the colour of her. My orange Made by Mitchell is gonna stay because it's great for makeup look. Now I've got my Laura Mercier and my Iconic London. They're both very similar, slightly different shades, but I love this one for an everyday use, and I took this one travelling with me, so she's gonna stay and I'm gonna let go of my Iconic one. So I've got two of these little ones by Laura Mercier. Out of the two, I'm gonna keep this one, which is Sunrise, and I'm gonna let go of the shade Blaze. So I've got a couple of these stick formulas by various brands. This one is Huda Beauty, this one is Anastasia Beverly Hills. They're very similar because they're both shimmery colours, although I slightly prefer the colour of the Huda Beauty one because it's more pink toned, so I'm going to keep that one and put this one aside. This one is by Nude Sticks, this one is Anastasia Beverly Hills. They're more or less the exact same shade and formula. I feel like because I know I'm going to keep this one by Anastasia Beverly Hills, I ought to keep this one by Nude Sticks so that I have a little bit of variation in my collection. To be honest, I might actually get rid of both of them because they're not really the colour that I tend to reach for. It's quite a mauvey colour and I prefer peachy. I'm going to keep this one by Beauty Bay because I love the colour of it. And then with my Made by Mitchell blushes, I do tend to reach for some more than others. So I'm definitely going to keep Sweet Cheek and I'm definitely going to keep Rosy Posy, but I think I'm going to let go of a Shy Boy because it's just slightly too mauvey for my skin tone. Could never let go of my baby, my NARS Orgasm blush. I love that one. This one by Milk is going, and I'm also going to keep this one by S. I actually don't know what the brand is, but I like the colour of it, and I don't have any cream blushes in this sort of packaging. I mean, she is very similar to my Laura Mercier one, but it's fine. I'm going to keep them both. And onto my cream highlighters, which is really easy for me because I never use any of them. There's some really beautiful colours in here, but again, just never reach for the formula of them. So all of these can pretty much go. I'm just going to check the colours before I do them for sure. I think that these two are the only ones I'm going to keep. I really like this one by Revolution and also this one by Charlotte Tilbury, but the rest of them I literally never touch, so they can all go. Now on to the fun part, which is foundations. So we've managed to clear out one box. We've now got concealers and foundations in this one here. I've got my cream blushes and bronzers in this one, and then just a few primers in this one, and that is so much more manageable than what I had before. To be fair, even this is still a lot of foundations. I can probably get rid of a couple more, but I'll come back to it. Okay, and the final drawer down on this side is another really messy one. This is my skincare drawer, and I know for a fact I can definitely get rid of a majority of this stuff. It's either been sitting here or I never use it, or I don't really know what to do with it, so we're gonna have a field day doing this one. God, this is overwhelming, isn't it? Okay, so I think I'm going to begin with moisturisers because I know there is a lot of moisturisers in here, and I'm actually quite fussy with moisturiser. I like a specific type and I like it to feel a certain way on my skin. So any of the ones that don't really provide me with that are going to go. Actually, no, I'm going to start with cleansers and toners because apparently I've got loads of those. Don't remember the last time I used that. This is the Fenty Fat Water Pore Refining Toner Serum. I think I have used this a couple of times. I've got one of these at Callum's. This is the Ren Glow Tonic. I don't love this. I actually use my Pixie one every day, so I think I'm going to let somebody else have fun with that because I don't really love the formula. Glycolic acid. See, I feel like I want to get into skincare, but I just don't know what half of this does. Oh my god, the amount of stuff in here is so scary. So in this one, I suppose I will put all my toners and my SPFs and my moisturisers. Maybe that's a good shout. Will this even stand up in that drawer? No. Okay. So I've currently got on the go 2 of the Fenty Skin moisturisers. I do like this moisturiser a lot, but I don't think I need 2 of them on the go at the minute. I've got this Over Makeup Super UV Protecting Mist, and I know I should use this, but I really hate it. I really hate the feeling of putting something over the top of my makeup, so I'm actually going to let somebody else have that because I would much rather just put it on underneath. Too Faced Hangover, that can go. Love this one by Wishful. Don't love this one by Milk Makeup. I have used this a lot of times in the past, but more so because it was the only one I had. I'm going to get rid of this Refresher Mist Retinol Face Stick. I'm really getting into my retinol recently, guys, in the evenings, so I think I might hold on to that for the minute and just see what I can do. Cooling Eye Serum Stick. I guess that's a good thing to have when my eyes are feeling a bit inflamed and puffy. The thing is, I also have a drawer full of skincare here, so I need to put it all in one drawer. So here is a little overview of all the drawers now that they are a bit decluttered. This is drawer number 1 with all my tools. This is drawer number 2. It's my P. Louise bases and cream eyeshadows along with some of my cleaning products. This is drawer number 3 now. This was completely cluttered in here before and this is looking so much better. This is my powder, bronzers and blushes and highlighters and face powders. Then this is my cream products. So this is foundations and concealers and then cream bronzers and blushes and then primers in here. Actually, maybe I'll turn that around. And this one is now my skincare drawer. Probably still a little bit excessive. I actually don't really use a lot of this on the regular, but I do want to get better with my skincare routine and I do want to learn more about the products that I have and how to use them. So this is looking a whole lot better as well. And that is all of my drawers on this side decluttered and finished. If you were curious, this, and this is all the stuff that has come out the drawers and is ready to go. And there we have completed part 1 of decluttering my makeup collection. It feels like I've actually spent all day doing this and that was only 5 drawers. In part 2, I'm going to be decluttering this set of drawers behind me and also the matching set of my Eyelix drawers, which is just over there. If you have enjoyed watching me ramble on about all the products that I'm trying to get rid of, then please do make sure to leave me a big thumbs up, a comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel if you don't already. I really appreciate anyone who has sat through this video because I know it's a long one and it's a lot of talking, but some of you might have found it therapeutic at least. Thank you so much again for watching and I hope to see you in part 2. Bye!